Okay. Happy Wellness Wednesday, my friends. If this is your first time popping in to this live and you're watching after it's done, welcome in. And my name is Candy. I'm a wellness coach, growing all my skill sets and holistic wellness things. I'm a personal trainer, fitness instructor, right? Meditation teacher, yoga instructor, just growing my skill sets every year. Nutrition coach too, little by little. Just want to add more things to be able to help people and know as much as I can. To me, knowledge is power, so yeah. But you can get yourself cozy, comfortable, whatever time of day you're watching this, as much as you can, just making this like a sacred time for yourself right now. So if you have candles or incense you want to light, you can light that, buddy. Come on. You can light those. You can grab water, tea, whatever you need to just feel comfortable and cozy in your space. Blankets, pillows. I just want to give it a heads up. Yeah, I'm sort of fueling off 5 hours of sleep. So I'm a little tired. But I'm going to try my best to like keep it together for my workshop because I don't like canceling things. So this is me showing up and showing out. All right. So I'm just wait like another minute or two for anyone else to come through. And if you are tuning in after it's live, then you just have a little bit of time here to get yourself comfortable. Maybe I'll put a timestamp later in case. Yeah, and if you have a journal, did I mention that already? If you have a journal, paper or anything, please get that out. I'm trying to use that a bit. Oh my goodness, Rocky! So much back and forth, up and down, all around. This is like, I have a 7-year-old basically. This cat is a 7-year-old. That's one. Okay. I'm still in good spirits. I'm just tired though. It's one of my challenges right now is sleeping early when I have many things I'm doing, but yeah, little by little I'm learning my boundaries too. Alrighty, let's see here. So, if you are joining this workshop for the first time, last week we started with writing down things that we were grateful for, or what we really did was talk about abundance and like what that means to us and what's the first thing that comes to our heads with abundance, right? And then also connecting that to gratitude, and how gratitude equals abundance, because it does go really deep into that. And it starts with the feeling gratitude. Hey Dwayne, how are you? Sorry, I just saw your comment. I'm doing good. I'm just tired. So if I seem like I'm in low spirits, or if I'm like, if I'm not clearly explaining something, just let me know. I would try my best not to talk in circles as much today. Hello. So yeah, and after we last week after we talked about abundance, how that comes up for us, what's the first things we think of, and connecting that to gratitude, then we wrote down a bunch of things that we were grateful for in a list. And that just helped us be able to put quality time into actually feeling abundant. And when you're able to write down things you're grateful for and you spend that time doing that, you just focus a spiral of like good emotions, right? Instead of focusing on like what doesn't work for your life and what isn't working, what's not there, what you don't have yet. You're just focusing on what you do have, and that allows you to start feeling abundant already. And I think for some of us out here, maybe like, the idea could be, like, how's that really gonna attract abundance in my life? But it really is all about that energy, right? Just like if you're walking down the street and you're just angry about something that happened earlier in the day, and maybe there's someone you could have like passed by or met that like had an opportunity for you. Maybe if you like went to a cafe or something and you're angry after that whole walk and you're like fuming mad, and then you're sitting in this cafe by yourself and you're just like looking angry and pissed, right? Say that there was someone who was like next to you ordering something else, right? Maybe they could have like complimented you, but maybe they would have felt like, okay, your energy isn't positive, so they don't want to talk to you, right? But also, it's like, you never know meeting that person, like what they were connected to, maybe they could give you an opportunity in your life, right? But they don't want to talk to you because your energy is not positive, right? You're like, okay, well, I talked to this person. So it literally spirals, it definitely is like a domino effect. So that's why being able to, in any situation, even if you're going through something that is negative in your life, in any situation, if you're able to allow yourself to feel positive or give some kind of silver lining, then you can like still attract in more of a positive outcome, if that makes sense, right? I think that makes sense to all of us. Hopefully. It's like, like if you think about experiences in your life, literally, if you take 1 minute right now to do that, like think of a time where like maybe you could have responded a little bit better in a situation, but because you didn't, it definitely went like more downhill. Or a situation where you did really respond well, in a way where you're able to see the silver lining or choose to be positive, right? Then that affects, the outcome of that. So yeah, that's just a little piggybacking from last week. So, wait, Dwayne, I don't think you were here last week, right? I think you're probably the one person that's still here right now. No, Instagram Live is a little weird. Not Instagram, sorry, YouTube Live is a little weird because it's like, why do they let weird people in here? And just like, if it's a workshop about gratitude, right? And it's like, it's weird. I don't know how people will find this. But anyway, don't want to get too deep into that right now. So, if you're watching this and you're new to the workshop, I invite you to right now write down what you're grateful for. I'm actually going to play some music. And for those of us who were at this workshop last week, I invite us to write down things that we're grateful for today. If you weren't here last week, write down things that you're grateful for in this past year that you can remember. Okay, and I'm just going to give us 5 minutes for this part. 5 to 10 minutes, depending. I'll check in 5 minutes and see like how anyone's feeling. Hello, Fairy. Hello. Thank you. I appreciate you. Trevor, thank you. Nice to meet you. I don't know if I've met you yet. Hello, hello. But yeah, if you guys want to join in on the gratitude and abundance workshop, grab a piece of paper, grab a journal that you have nearby. Let's start feeling a willpower of abundance within us. Let's do it. Last week I wrote down 13 things that I was grateful for from the past year. And there was definitely more things. It just, we already took 15 minutes to write down everything and like soak in what we were feeling. So I invite us to take this time, 5 to 10 minutes, take our time feeling what we're grateful for. I'm just starting with that, just to set that energy. So if you need a moment still to get your pen and paper, it's okay. But if you're ready, let's start doing it. And I don't know if you can hear the music, but I'll just turn it up. And there's a reason why I just was playing lo-fi beats, but I just changed it to this music because musics all have frequencies, right? And then they bring out and draw out certain energy in us. So I like to use like meditation frequency music because it allows us to come to this baseline and it's calming. So it sort of like forces you to, feel a more positive energy, but then also like grounded at the same time, right? So you're like, you can be more clear-headed and not all over the place. So yeah, let's start writing down some things. Things you were grateful for the past year if you weren't here last week. And if you're here last week, write down what you're grateful for the past day or just the past week. Some core things. Just anything that comes up, start writing it, letting it out. And as you're writing, I invite you to allow yourself to really feel what you're writing down. So don't just rush through writing it. Remember what you're grateful for. And as you're writing it, each word that comes down, allow yourself to just fully be present with that and soak that in. What feeling of gratitude comes up for you as you write? You don't have to answer me, but allow yourself to ask that question in your mind. Like, what feeling comes up when I write this? What sensations might come up? Is this how gratitude feels for me? And if you started with some simple things that you're grateful for, maybe now you're going a little deeper. It's okay to start out with just, okay, maybe you're grateful for at least the water that you drink, which literally nourishes your body. You're grateful for the breath that helps you live as your life force. You're grateful for being able to wear the clothes off your back that helps you express your style. Things like that, right? But now you can try to go a little deeper if you haven't already into some, maybe a core experience or two, an interaction you had with someone. You could take your time sort of thinking about it. Okay, so we're almost there. Let's see. So I'm gonna try one more thing. I'm gonna write one more thing. Well, as I say, I'm gonna write one more thing, and another thing always pops up in my head. Okay, maybe go even deeper, even deeper. Maybe a situation that you wouldn't normally expect, like, oh, I could pull gratitude out of this, right? So it could be something that's like a blessing in disguise, a situation that may have been challenging, and you pull gratitude out of that. Go a little deeper. You know, last week we had a few people say, like, family and friends. They're grateful for, like, their mom and dad, family and friends, and that's beautiful. We always should feel grateful for our support systems. But definitely in our day-to-day, even the less obvious things, right? Okay. And let's see where we are with time. Probably do like 2 more minutes, but I'm probably just gonna write one more thing and then I'll start moving forward with this. Maybe it's even a challenging situation. You'd feel grateful for a challenging situation, right? Where maybe even, you know, like if you're giving someone some kind of grace in a situation, right? Like, and it sounds like it's difficult to do. Like if someone, maybe they didn't respond in a good way to you, but you chose to respond well. You can even say, I'm grateful that I had the willpower to be the best version of myself and respond in a way where I'm in my inner power, right? And inner power and inner strength has been a key theme the past week since like last week's mindful meditation in my tarot reading that I do on Instagram. And so I feel like that's just traveling on into this week and going into the new year. And we all have this really amazing ability to create and just like make anything out of any situation. So I do want us to feel that, you know, I want us to feel the power of that. Okay, I'm gonna write one more thing that came to mind. I was like mid-sentence while I started talking. I can't do two things at once. My narrow, spicy brain. Narrow, spicy. Someone recently said like, oh, I haven't heard that term before. I'm like, yeah, that's new. Neurodivergent, but saying it in a way that's like more fun. Narrow, spicy. I'm narrow, spicy. Sleepy right now and narrow, spicy at the same time. Doesn't really mix the best. Hope I don't sound sad to anyone. Oh man, I'm just tired. I definitely need to get sleep though. I'm absolutely gonna do that tonight. Maybe I should say that. I'm grateful for my bed that helps me sleep, and I should do that. I'm actually gonna write that. I remember what I was writing now. Like I erased what I was starting to write, and I was like, no, wait, no. I got it now. Okay, one more minute. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe 30 seconds, actually. Okay, so wrapping up what I'm writing, and you can wrap up what you're writing if you're writing. Hey, Dwayne. Yeah, right, it's funny. Grateful for my bed, that helps me rest. If you're laughing at that, I don't know. I forgot if I said something else after that. I'm literally, yeah, I definitely do need to sleep. I said this on Monday, though, right? So part of my inner power, I think I usually, we can actually talk about that, right? Inner power sort of now linked to like gratitude and abundance, actually. I should just do a whole inner power workshop, but since that was a theme the past week too, we can connect those two together. Okay, so finish up any words you may be writing, anyone, and then I'm gonna start shifting the energy back to the lo-fi vibes, music. Okay, getting some little chit-chatty energy. Okay, so inner power, right? And gratitude and abundance and how all these things connect. So, just like I was saying in the beginning, right? When you step into feeling grateful for something, you're already feeling abundant because you're not stepping into an energy of the opposite, which is lack, right? And what you focus on grows. So that's what we talked about last week, right? So if you focus on what's not working for you, what you don't like, then you should just keep going down that rabbit hole. So if you focus on what you're grateful for, then it can also continue to spiral to what's positive. In our minds, our minds have the natural ability to sort of want to think about the problems because it wants to protect us, right? And so, like, if you can bring awareness to how your mind thinks about any situation, then you can be able to flip around that situation, even if, especially if it's something that's negative, actually. And I think that's something I super want to touch up on today, very soon. But connecting, hey Travi, what's up? How you doing? My fams, hello. Hey Dwayne, hey Travi, both of yous. So, yes, with feeling gratitude equals that abundance energy, which equals that that inner strength, that inner power. Because it does take a lot of willpower to make the choice to say, like, hey, like, I'm gonna be grateful for something. Since our minds are naturally more wired to be a defense mechanism. Our minds, that's just what they're for. They like to logic and think out of situations, right? Like, maybe it'll convince you not to do something, like take a risk. Taking a risk a lot of times can help us grow to be better versions of ourselves. Taking risks can help us become more powerful and, like, realize, like, oh, what I was afraid of wasn't really gonna happen anyway. Or if it did, you survive out of it, right? I know this is like a slight little branch out from the gratitude itself, but even that equals abundance, right? Because if you're staying stuck and stagnant into one headspace, or like things that you're too comfortable with, you're not going to allow for new opportunities, and you might not feel as abundant, right? Might not have more just influx of income, connections. Abundance comes in various ways aside from just finances. But I think all the things can add to financial abundance too. If you have good connections with people, you can also have a plentiful amount of abundance financially too, all these things are connected in that way. But now if we're trying to dive back into, well, real quick, if you didn't already, I say write down what I just said though. Gratitude equals, just to like look at it, right? And get the word visuals for yourself. Like, imagine a teacher writing on a board, right? Gratitude equals abundance, right? Which then equals, I want to say, let's do inner power. Let's do that. Inner power. Yes. Okay, so if you didn't write that down, write it down. Gratitude equals abundance, which equals inner power. You can write it to look better than what I did, right? And really look at that, okay? We can dive into that now in a different way. I actually want us to talk about gratitude for challenging situations, because we didn't really talk about that so much last week. We had someone come in and they gave an example actually for themselves. And actually at the end, I actually want us to see if we're going to share some of the things that we're grateful for, because we did that last week, but I'm just like sort of changing the flow a bit today. Dwayne said, I always say life is easy. It's the mind that makes it difficult. Yeah, it really is. If you think about, okay, guys, if you really think about history, the history of humanity, right? In the beginning, humans are discovering, literally, like, things, like, you can laugh when you think of a caveman, but literally, like, fire, what is this and that, and then words, right? Like, as a species, we have developed over time. And a lot of the time for the past, like, a couple hundred years, and even now, there's, like, wars and stuff. Like, where do you think wars really come from? Like, why do people feel like they need to have a war, or to, like, fight anyone, or have any kind of negative situation with anyone? It's your mind that creates the story, right? So if we take a second right now to think, like, okay, what if we didn't have any brain? Not saying we should have no brains and that we should not think ever, but just in this situation right now, if we think, okay, no brain, right, at all, it would mainly be like, I guess we maybe would be like not physically able to move our bodies, but if there's a part of our brain that didn't like reason and think certain things, like an animal, you think of an animal, they don't really like logic, right? We're the only species that we know that does that. So animals do instinct, right? And we're also mammals and animals too, right? We're warm-blooded, we're mammals too. So if we didn't have that logic part of our brain, it was just like survival, right? It would just be like instincts. Life would just be, we wouldn't think it's bad or it's good, right? We wouldn't be like having like drama problems. We're just like living, right? And that doesn't mean that that's how we should be living or shouldn't be living. It's just that when you put that two and two together, that our minds as humans, we logic, and it creates stories, which then it can equal problems that we give ourselves, right? So really, I know Dwayne was here, and I talked about this yesterday for my Tarot Tuesday live stream on Instagram. The Power of Now, because I started listening to that audiobook recently, and I do feel like it's come into my life right now at a specific point for a reason, and I'm meant to also share it with people who don't know. The Power of Now, really looking into that. I think if you want a book to read, you want something new, I say look into it, because it really is about understanding your mind and how it works, really understanding what it means for your existence. Like, you know, I can't remember if they talk about what is the soul. Maybe they do. I just remember more about the mind right now, because that's what the recent chapter I'm on. And it talks about how we identify with the mind, but the mind makes up the stories of who we are. We're not our mind, though, you know? We're more than just our mind. Which is, I think that can be a hard concept to grasp. But your mind, it really isn't you, though, you know? Like, who you are is in your heart, right? Like, your mind is built up off of, like, everything from your childhood that you soaked in. Like, your environment, the culture you live in, the people who raised you, and, like, their habits and things. Like, those things were, like, just, you know, piece by piece, like, part of your paradigm, if you want to call it that. If you tune in with that word, paradigm, right? Your social paradigm, your way of being, your habits, like your puzzle. But it's like you can reconstruct that puzzle, right? So it's like you're not like just one set thing, and your mind can be malleable and flexible, right? So we're more than our minds. We're like, that's why like a soul is a thing and a concept, right? Because who we are outside of just the constant thinking, we feel like intuitively in our heart, right? Like, just like when you have a hug from someone and you love how that feels, right? You can't really logic and explain fully like why the mind, you know, and the mind can't really explain like why do we love, you know, why do we love people, you know, just like why do we have emotions, you know, at all. You know, they're negative too, but at times, but a lot of negativeness will come from the mind itself, though, because that's just what it's designed to do, to protect us. But anyway, it can logic things too in ways that could be good. It's just you have to know how to control your mind, basically. So I recommend looking into the Power of Now, and that's you making a choice to be grateful for things. So let's talk about, at least for this situation we're talking about, right? Learning how to control your mind so it can be positive and work in your favor so you can be abundant, right? And know how to attract in abundance with your mind. Not just like, oh, telekinesis, I'm mind controlling and trying to like magic wand things into my life through my brain. Like I think about it and snap, it's here. It's about, no, connecting those dots so like little by little you can start seeing the things. I can give you guys, I guess, an example before I go even deeper into our challenge prompt situation that we can all talk about. So for me, well, you know, I had 4 jobs recently, right? I went from having 0 jobs 3 months ago to now I had 4 jobs. I got rid of one of them, which is good. It was a good thing. Well, I didn't really it's like a weird place. I sort of didn't want it, and the universe, I think, heard me, like, energetically. I don't know. I was replaced. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say I was fired. I was an independent contractor. He didn't say, oh, you're fired. But I guess maybe you could say that. I just don't feel like I'm like, I wasn't fired. The energy moved me out of a situation I didn't like. I mean, the universe moved me out of a situation. But anyway, from having 0 jobs and now having like 3 jobs, right? In between that space of time, what do you think I was doing, you know, in order to get that? Not just applying for jobs, but it was just like being, at the time, I was being grateful for what I did have, and it was definitely, you know, a little bit challenging. There was times it felt hard, but, you know, once I was able to start being like, okay, I'm applying for jobs, and then, okay, I'm grateful I was able to do that, take the time to do that. And then when the opportunity started opening up, I mean, there was a little period there wasn't, right? And then it was like, okay, I'm just gonna be grateful for, like, Like maybe some people were helping me, like family members, you know, my family's not the richest or anything like that, and they would try to help me in certain ways. I would have gratitude for that, right? I would have gratitude when friends are like, okay, like this situation happened, like I got a parking ticket on a friend's birthday, right? And another friend, I just like was stressing out about having to pay it, and another friend paid for me, helped me pay the parking ticket, which I, you know, at first I'm like, oh my god, I don't want anyone to pay for me, but then I was like, after reflecting a bit, after like a day or two, I'm like, you know what, like I am really grateful though that someone cared enough about me to do that, right? So there's always something, like depending on the energy you give out to people, you know, it's like little steps, right? If you're going through a challenging space in your life, a challenging era, then it won't be like as like snap of a finger easily able to like feel like so grateful for everything, but it's like one little thing at a time and it builds up. That's just literally how it is, right? You go down that rabbit hole of like things you can be grateful for as much as you can in any way, right? And so I think the two topics I'm trying to talk about they're meshing together. But basically, yeah, it's like I attracted in abundance into my life having a beautiful amount of opportunities. I still have another new opportunity I'm starting, even after now not having my fourth job that I had, which was the cleaning job. I'm not going to go into a whole story about that if you don't know, but I was doing a cleaning job, and now I'm like, okay, it's not my life purpose. I was unhappy doing it anyway, and I was happy to have extra income. It was the most money I actually made, to be honest, from any job every week, but or I think maybe the second job I've ever had that paid me the most. But, you know, it wasn't my life purpose, and I wasn't fully happy. And it's like, I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, though. It's like, okay, will I attract more abundance in? What if this is it? What if this is the only job? So there's like that part of my brain I was trying to logic that, right? Like, oh, no, like maybe I should stay here. And I think, luckily, I think whatever is going on in the stars right now in the universe, the energy was just like, okay, Mercury retrograde stuff, like texting. I wasn't seeing text and stuff. It was disappearing. It was a whole thing. But basically, it's like the boss ended up, I guess he decided to like let me go and hire someone else to fill my position, even though I didn't confirm saying I wanted to stop it. I was just letting him know like, hey, I think I deserve more pay for this job, you know, respectfully, because it's taking me a really long time to do, more than you told me to, and also you were missing details about the job, and it made me feel blindsided, right? He got defensive about it and didn't like that I was asking about that, but I was still letting him know like I am still grateful I got the job. Like I'm not trying to make, you know, say I'm not, but you know, it shows like in situations where you just try it out. I tried the cleaning job out, right? And it did help me for like the past month. And now it's like, okay, now moving like a wave on to the next thing, right? But it's like in order to get these jobs, I had to be grateful for one thing at a time. And opportunities were coming to me, and I chose to see them. I took them. I tried them, right? It's like that, you know. You have to be aware of what's gonna come in, even if it doesn't seem like it's a big thing at the time, right? Like, so that's where it starts, little by little. And now connecting that to the main point I wanted to talk about, they actually are connected. So being grateful for what you can, right? Bit by bit in your situation. But when I had 0 jobs and now 3 jobs, I took what made sense. Things were coming to me based on like any of the interactions I was having. They just connect, right? So now connecting that to the main point is about challenging situations and being grateful during those times. Like, I'm actually curious if anyone would like to share, so I'm not just talking the whole time, only about my stuff. If anyone would like to share a time that they could remember, it could be either or. If you remembered a time where you had a challenging life era or just one situation or whatever, but you were able to be grateful even in spite of the situation and what it was, right? Even if it was like something you didn't like you're still able to be grateful about something about the situation or outcome of that situation, right? That's again called finding the silver linings, right? If you're haven't heard of that term, choosing to see the silver lining, right? Flipping that switch, the yin and yang, right? So let me know if there's a time that you were able to be grateful even during a challenging, unhappy situation you didn't like. And if you're having a hard time with that, then that's okay. I think be vulnerable and share like, okay, was there a time you can remember where you could have been more grateful about the outcome, you know, and you're still like processing. It could be, usually it's a situation, if you're still like harboring like negativity or like hate or lack of forgiveness over a situation, and forgiveness is a whole different topic. It's not about, we can talk about that another time, but it's not about like, okay, the person didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that. But anyway, think about that. Let me know if there was a time where like if you're still like maybe trying to heal from a situation, or you just remember something that took a while for you to like feel okay about, or find something good about it that happened. I would like to know. And in the meantime, as you're thinking and maybe you're typing, I can just connect this back to my current situation again with the job specifically, with this one cleaning job. Because I think part of me, basically, I don't really feel sad that I lost the cleaning job. I talked about this last night during my tarot reading. I just feel a little annoyed. I felt, not a little, I felt pretty annoyed and disappointed because I worked for this boss for 4 years and I was a fitness instructor for him. I was like helping him manage his business for 1 year. I did all this work. People told me they liked my managing, right? So I know I was doing a good job, you know. He didn't try to fire me from managing, but in general, it's like I worked for him for 4 years, and then it's like, okay, because I asked for higher pay for cleaning with not a lot of details, like the wrong details about the job. He didn't give me all the right details for the cleaning, which is important. You need to know details for cleaning, right? How do you clean something well if you don't have the details? But anyway, you know, so he got mad at me for that, or not really mad, but he definitely had some attitude while texting, and now he's just like, oh, I hired someone else or whatever, like, if this wasn't clear enough for the last week. I thought he was not gonna do that for a second, but I had to make sure I texted him earlier today, like, hey, did you see my text? I worked 10 hours last week cleaning, so can you pay me? So, but you know, like, yeah, I'm not sad about it, I'm just annoyed. But I still can find gratitude. For me, what I would say, basically, always, every time I tell someone about this situation, I'm like, I'm grateful that I don't have to be his cleaner anymore, because it's not my life purpose. I'm grateful that the past month that's one thing, right? It's not my life purpose. I'm grateful I'm out of it. 2, I'm grateful the past month I've had money enough to catch up on my bills at the least, you know. I think that's really good. Certain bills, not all of them. Certain bills, like rent. And then the third thing, I'm trying to think, there's another thing. Just more things, just things that you can come up with, though, if you just start down that rabbit hole. I'm like, okay, well, to me, I guess, overall, I feel like I'm grateful I dodged a bullet, because I don't have to work for someone like that. Like, who wants to work for someone who's not going to at least consider what you're saying, you know? Like, there's so many responses he could have had, right, to asking for higher pay, right? He could have just said, oh, no, I'm not able to do that right now. Instead, he had a whole spiel. That was the most communication he's ever done, I feel like, after 4 years I've known him. He was like, what? He's like, he didn't say what, I'm sorry. I'm assuming that's his tone. But no, he texted, I shouldn't have to give you every single detail. I can't afford to pay you. I can't pay you more than what I'm already giving you. I thought you'd be appreciative of having a flexible job and all this and that. Like, there's 50 people on Indeed. Shouldn't look for a job. You know, he said all these things that he said. I'm like, wow, that's the most I feel like he's ever said in a message. But I'm just kidding. No, he probably another time or two. But I'm like, okay, now he wants to talk. But you know, that's the thing, though. It's like, okay, in situations, if you can find a gratitude, like, even in that, right, I could sit here and say, like, oh, sorry, I'm going to look at comments in a second, too, to make sure you guys get the full picture. Like, I could easily say, like, oh, my God, it sucks. Like, he's terrible. I mean, I'm sort of still saying that in a way, but I'm trying not to focus on that, right? I'm not like, oh, my God, I'm so sad, and I'm angry because I made this amount of money, and I deserve it, and I deserve that, and he made me feel like shit and all these things. Like, no, like, my focus is more like, oh, thank goodness I'm not working there anymore. Like, my worth is more than that, and I see the true colors of this person, right? And it's, like, about shifting that perspective. Like, basically, gratitude is you choosing not to be a victim in a situation. And you can actually be victims in situations like, you know, when I got assaulted and robbed, like, years ago, even I didn't have anything. I just had a phone, but everyone can get a phone easily. But anyway, when that happened to me, like, when I got assaulted and robbed, like, years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, right? It was like, Sorry, I forgot why exactly I was trying to bring that up now. It was connected to gratitude in challenging situations. My ADHD is going on to like a spiral here. That's what's happening. I'm just connecting things. Okay, so I'm assuming I brought that up because it's gonna start talking about what we just said. So like with challenging situations, right? Like for that, it would have been hard for me to like think of, okay, how can I like feel in my power or be grateful, right? It's okay. I think I'm losing the thought. It's alright. I'll connect it back. Let me look at the comments. Sorry, guys. ADHD was doing too much too fast, and I lost it. Okay. Dwayne said, "Oh man, when I was homeless, I learned the hard way how to be grateful for everything." Yes, honestly, Travi, you too. Oh wow. So you guys know. I think okay. So this is something I would say. And I talked to someone about this. There's a woman. She was like an accountability partner I had like for a group I had last year, and we would talk about this how homeless people can actually be some of the most grateful people. They're like more grateful than most of, not every, you can't generalize people. Not every single person's gonna be grateful that's homeless, but most homeless people, I would assume they are more grateful than people that are already like living in spaces that they're just used to. Or people that are used to having a home, used to driving to work everywhere. And I drive a car too, so I'm at this point spoiled compared to riding the bus, right? Like I used to ride the bus everywhere or ride a bike everywhere, literally. Even when it was snowing, I would ride a bike. Now I have a car, right? But have I gotten used to my car? Yeah, I have. And there's times where I'm like, oh, I have to drive to work and it's 30 minutes away. And there's other, thoughts I could have about that, just with being on time and stuff and whatever. But in terms of like, okay, I'm grateful that I have a car. And I really think about that right now. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to ride the bike everywhere, even in the snow and in the rain. Even when at the time I had a partner that could have picked me up and drive me, and he would complain half the time, like, I want to play my video games and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I'm biking in the snow, so awesome. But anyway, long story for that, right? So when I think back to those times, I'm like, okay, I'm grateful that I do have a car right now, right? And that's literally like, in those challenging situations, though, it can be hard to see. But even then, if I can think about when I was biking, I'm like, oh, well, I'm grateful I at least got a workout during the biking, too, So it's just, there's things you can always just pull from every situation. But definitely, like, when you have less things, when you're more minimalist, or if you end up homeless, and, I'm glad that you guys are out of that situation. I'm sure, like, you feel more comfortable with your life now, right? And so, that can be where you just feel, like, the most gratitude, because you're like, I'm grateful I'm at least alive, like, because you just go through so many things. I have friends that were homeless before too, so I know that's some real stuff. You learn the hard way, because that's literal rock bottom, right? Like, I do this because it's like, if your body's still moving, and there's always ways you can find to create, and like, there's ways out, as long as you're alive. But it is like a rock bottom situation to be homeless. Like, no one wants to be homeless, or that idea, you just feel not safe, you don't feel secure, and you learn to be grateful for sure for what you are able to have, even if it's just the clothes literally on your back, or I gave a bagel to a homeless guy like 2 weeks ago, because he wanted pennies or quarters, but I didn't have any quarters. And I was just like, wouldn't you rather the bagel? I'd rather just give you food. So he just took the bagel. I'm like, yeah. Like, but it's just ironic to me. He wasn't even asking, like, could I have $1 or $2? And he said quarters. I'm like, okay, your worth as a human is more than just quarters. I'm going to give you food, man. I mean, I don't know what the quarters were for, too, though. If we would get drugs or other things, but, whatever. We're not going to talk about all that right now. It's just, I'm glad I could help. But he was grateful for it. He was like, yeah, I'll eat this bagel. Travis said, okay, I have a good job taking care of mom, and everything is trying to take me away from it. Everything's trying to take you away from it? What do you mean? You have a good job taking care of your mom, and everything is trying to take you away from it. See, I think that's the thing. The mindset. I mean, I don't know your whole life situation right now, but I can definitely saying out loud and then writing it out into the world, everything is trying to take you away from it. That's not the mindset you want to have going to that either. So I think that can, like, just reinforce. You'll just continue to find things that are trying to take you out of it, right? Because you're choosing. In this moment, you're saying that, not because you really want to, but it's because our mind allows ourselves to think of a way that lack from anything. Like, what's not working out of anything, right? So instead of that, even if your situation is challenging, I challenge you, even if your situation is challenging, I challenge you to flip the switch on that. So actually, what could you say? Let's actually do it. That is what I want to do right now. So if there's something that is challenging to you all right now, what can you do to reverse it? Just like my example of the job thing. Instead of like, oh, I lost my cleaning job that was paid me the most. You know, I'm saying, well, I'm glad that I'm out of that situation now because I wasn't happy. It wasn't fulfilling. And now I can do more wellness stuff. I can focus on my business, not cleaning someone else's business. You know, there's always something you can pull out of that. So for your current situation, what can you do to say, like, more of a positive thing or a grateful thing? Like, maybe you could just say, I'm grateful that I have a good job. I'm taking care of my mom. There's going to be more opportunities for me, you know? And you're grateful that you do have opportunities. And I think that's good to, like, shift that mindset. If you have another idea, let me know. Because I think that's where we need to start training our inner power there. And it starts with the gratitude. So everything is connecting very much like a wave. Dwayne said breathe. Yes, breathing is so important, guys. I'm going to give Travi, because Travi, you're the fam. I'm going to give you moderator status, too. I'm trying to think which one. Is the standard moderator? Okay. Travi said, love to hear that. I don't know. Great job. Love to hear it. I forgot what it was I was saying at that time that you said that. Travi, sorry. He said, I also did the same for a black homeless guy. I hate to see my people suffer because of addiction and things. Yeah. And I brought him 2 sausages. Okay, cool. Big water and a soda and $5. That's awesome. Wow. That's good karma on you for real, though. Like, and it's like not even about doing it for receiving karma points or whatever, but it's like literally just caring about a human being. And see, in that moment, you probably were like, you felt abundant enough to give to someone who needed it, right? And that's the thing, trusting that we are abundant no matter what. And as human beings, it's like an energy exchange, right? So even if that exact person, you know, that is a stranger that you don't know, you helped them, someone else is going to be able to help you energetically too. That, I think that energy just, it comes back to you. It's like, if you think of an infinity symbol, life is just like that. Yin yang, you know, it just goes around like a cycle of life. And you have to trust that. And I think that's where being gratitude comes in these challenging situations. So if you guys, you guys already shared a challenging situation. You said homelessness. So that's actually like the best example, to be honest. Because I can guarantee some of the people that's going to watch this or could be currently watching this, they've never experienced homelessness. I haven't either. I mean, I could have been close when I had 0 jobs, but luckily I live with my sister and she was able to sort of help me too. And our relationship, we're growing our relationship. It's, you know, it's what it is. And I usually take care of myself, honestly. I try to, but I've been learning to receive and lean on others. Tap into that receiving feminine energy. We all have masculine and feminine energy in us. So allow yourself to receive too. That's another thing. To allow abundance. Be grateful if people are trying to offer you things. Know that you deserve to receive things. That's another thing. I think, yeah, positive self-talk comes a lot into just like all of this, you know, even with like receiving stuff, with this receiving and challenges, right? With just everything. Just seeing how you can be grateful or have that gratitude energy in any situation. So I don't know if you guys want to share any other experiences or any other instances, or if you don't have anything from the past, I think rather it would be more powerful right now. Oh my God, Rocky. He's like trying to knock my stuff down. He's like, girl, why are you talking to the phone? Talk to me. Oh my gosh. Hi. What can I do for you? You want to tell us what you're grateful for? Is he grateful for me? Maybe. He's like, yes, I'm grateful for you. Honestly, this is actually a good point to bring up. Sort of allow yourself at times when you're like in challenging situations to be like how like your pet would be, you know? Like literally, because like it sounds silly, but it's like there's times I'm annoyed at my cat, right? Because he's like a 7-year-old kid, and I'm like a single mom with a 7-year-old kid. That's what it feels like, literally. He's a cat that's a dog, I feel like, actually. And he's not a cat. He's literally on the table just doing everything, jumping around up and down, meowing, yelling at me. Okay, but... Oh my gosh, he's falling off the table, all these things. See? doing everything in my face. So, you know, but I know that, like, you know, he's grateful, though. Even if I'm, like, sometimes I get a little snippy at him, he still, like, comes to me and loves me, right? But it's, like, he's just going with the flow a bit, you know? Like, he just goes with the flow. What's happening happens, and then he'll come back, you know, and he's just showing his love and gratitude, right? Even when I'm, like, stressed out, he'll still, like, rub up on me and things. And I think our pets, they know how to, like, be just in the present moment. And they don't even realize that it's, like, gratitude, to be honest. But it's, like, that would be what that is, though, too, you know? This is gratitude. He doesn't realize it, though. That's cool, though, that we can do that, right? So if we have the choice to be grateful, then we can allow ourselves in any moment to be present on what we're feeling, how our body's responding, because our mind is connected to our body, right? What's happening in your body? Is your breath going short? Is your breath, is it actually like you're having like anxiety, panic attack? Do you feel calm? Are you taking like slower, calmer breaths, you know? Allow your breath to center you. Notice how you're feeling in the body. Center yourself in these challenging situations. And then just see what you can do to flip that switch and allow it to be more positive for yourself. Because you're allowed to notice how you're feeling and feel what you're feeling, but you don't want to stay stuck in it, and especially if it's not actually going to help you, right? Not going to help you feel in your power. Oh my god, my cat, what is he doing? Stop it, you're going to ruin the live. He actually is like with the swipe up, and I'm like, wait, no, I need to like stay on the live, man. Okay, so, see, Travi has a little more to share. Let's take a look. Sorry. He said, okay, I was homeless and still am-ish. Okay. And if I wasn't taking care of my mom, but here I am fighting to try my best and stop learning the same lessons of years past and live in the nows and be grateful. There you go. Thank you for sharing that, though, by the way, Travi, because I know it can be like a lot to share like your current life situations and challenges, and then like, you know what I mean? And you don't want to be, we cannot want to be judged for things, but I think like if you're able to share this now, that shows that you have a confidence within yourself to feel safe no matter what you're sharing, and also that you're owning up to your experience and you're doing a thing. You are. So I'm grateful that your mom is allowing you to have a place also by taking care of her. And so hopefully you can be connected to each other in that way. Like, you know, I don't know what your relationship is with your family. Some people, you know, we have families where you grow up and you're not close to them, right? And or it's really toxic and you distance yourself. And we're all allowed to do that too. But, you know, moms are supposed to be loving, right? And so I'm assuming she took care of you well when you were younger. So now it's like as she's getting older, you're able to take care of her, and you know, you're giving each other this reciprocal love. It's not really about like, hopefully it's not about conditions like, oh, you're my son, so you must take care of me, you know. That shouldn't be how any parent thinks. But you know, it's like that energy exchange though. Like when you give love, you receive love, and even if it doesn't happen right away, it can. Okay, you're trying to fight me and get my pencil. Look. Oh my god. Nope. Okay, listen. Bop. Oh my god. Okay. What's happening right now? I can give my gratitude to my cat. Being silly. Even though sometimes it annoys me. What are you? Come on, I'm trying to do. Stop. You shouldn't fight me, y'all. I don't know what to say. Stop it. I'm trying to like do things. You're doing the most. Stop it. Right now. Okay. So, you guys get entertainment on the side here. Dwayne said, that's funny. I just accidentally hit the live up at the same time. Oh, really? Stop. He's just in play mode. I think he's ready to play, but I haven't played with him for a while, I'll be honest. I'm just so busy. But now that the cleaning job isn't a thing as effective yesterday, then, you know, I can have more time to play with him now, I guess. So, but yeah, I hope you guys currently are getting like, you know, light bulb moments in your head about gratitude and how you can bring that into your situations, like literally in every moment. And I know at first, like, I think the idea of hearing like, okay, being present every moment is it's you like having to actually sort of like, you have to sort of put in a little bit of effort, you know, to be aware in every moment. But it's actually not, once you do it, it's not as like effort and hard as you think. I think it's okay to feel like a little frustrated at the idea of like, oh, I should always be aware. It's not even really about saying I should always be aware. It's about like, it's in my nature to deserve to be aware, you know, because for the best of myself. What are you doing, man? What y'all want? Okay, so, you know, it's like, he just wants head scratches, okay? He just wants me to pet him 24/7. That's my job. Getting paid with his love, pretty much, to do this. If I did this all day, every day. I won't pay the bills just by petting your head if I only did that all day, okay? No, also, I just won't be living my life purpose. Anyway, so, sorry, I'm trying to, like, connect that to something now. Guys, I'm sorry. Feel free to connect me. Human temptations treats probably, so honestly. He just wants my attention because I go to work and I come home and I'm like, you know. Okay, I just want to wrap that part up because we're hitting about the hour and I just wanted to give us like one last little bit of like tidbit, you know. So, yeah, I hope you guys have insights on how to be grateful in any situation. Yeah, presence, the power of now, your mind, right? Being present. So, it can feel like effort at first. It can feel overwhelming. But then once you realize, like, it's just a constant practice, like with anything, right? Like, riding a bike. If you rode a bike before or you learn how to swim, you learn how to whistle, right? At first, it's like effort. But then once you do it, then you just do it naturally already. You just know how to do it, right? It's like second nature, right? Like, at some point when you're a child, a baby, you have to learn how to walk. You have to learn how to eat. And that was effort, too. So, I think just don't be afraid of effort. Don't be afraid of effort. Yeah, because it's like honestly you owning your inner power, and especially when it comes to being aware of how you're feeling and what your mind is saying, then, you know, that literally is like the most important thing for just going about your life as like full-fledged adults with like, you know, now full control over our lives and like what we want to do and stuff like that, right? Full control over your bodies and things. So, you know, that's something that we should feel so like proud about. You know, or I don't want to tell anyone that they should feel any way, but I would hope that you would feel proud, you know, over your ability to control how you want to feel or like at least impact it in some way, you know, little by little, even subtly. So, yeah, I think practice that. I'm trying to see, I think there's one last thing I said I wanted us to do. I think if you have your journal, just write 3 things. So let's do the 3 things that are challenging right now in your life that you're grateful for, that you're learning from, or that happened recently, you know. Maybe you're not in the middle of it. If you're in the middle of something, I think that's good to practice this right now because it's like you're in the middle of it. But if there's something that happened, then you just get to like, it's in the past, but you get to take positive energy from it to your present moment. So let's do that. And if you can't think of 3 things, that is totally okay. You know, I don't want you to think too hard and you're like trying too hard to find something that's a problem, right? So let it come a little more naturally, you know. I think obvious easy stuff would be like what? Like money, job stuff, right? Relationships. Like there's always something that we can get positive out of those things. Yeah? Yes, sir. Okay. This cat, he's in love with me. I know. Oh my goodness. Okay. 3 things. So you can even section, if you didn't already start writing, you can write, underlined. You could just write challenging situations into positive. Challenging situations into positive. And I think, you know, for many of us, we know, like, okay, obviously we should try to be as positive as we can throughout challenging times, but literally this is me trying to break this down because I think we could know that, but doesn't mean we do it, right? There's, like, a lot of people that know, oh, it would be good for me to do strength training and work out, but do they do it, you know? So it's, like, it's really about actually putting the practice into it now and putting your focus, right, into it now so you can actually, like, live in that version of yourself now. Right? So that's what we're doing. We'll get into that. Trying my best to simmer down. To simmer down in general, like relax right now? Or like you mean tune in to the writing? What do you mean, Trappy? If you want to explain it, you don't have to. If you don't want to do. Oh no, we'll do some sharing after this. So yeah, 3 things that are challenging or situations right now, or recently, or in the past. It could be in the far past that you're grateful for the outcome of that because it in some way benefited you, helped you grow, you know, helped you realize you dodged a bullet or something in a relationship. You're like, no, I'm not dating that person because they're clearly toxic or whatever, you know. A job that's toxic. I'm glad I'm not there because if I stayed there 10 more years of my life would have been wasted or something, like, you know, stuff like that. So I'm starting it by saying I'm grateful for. I think that's good to do. I'll just turn up the music a little, give us some vibes. Okay, I take a little while to write, so once I'm done my other 2, then I'll have it start sharing. But if you want to start sharing your 3 challenging things, feel free to share anything that you want to share that is current. I know that you guys, Travi and Dwayne, you guys were already sharing in general past experience. So if there's anything, Travi, you're talking about present-ish too. But if there's anything else that's different other than the homelessness. But no, that's like I think that one's like the most like I get it. That's like the most rock bottom experience though, and I think it's the most important for people to like put into perspective. So I'm grateful you guys shared that. Thank you for being vulnerable because that that could help someone really actually like. Someone could be, in between jobs and couch surfing right now, and they could hopefully maybe find this workshop video, and I don't know, maybe they would get something out of that. Hopefully they would watch long enough to like hear that part. If they're meant to, they're aligned to, they will. I'm only writing 2 actually. Right now I sort of can't get a 3rd one, and that's fine. Okay, I'm done writing my 2. I don't know. I think it's good though. Honestly, if you end up not being able to think of things, that sort of helps though in a way that your brain is like able to just stay positive and more in a positive lane, rather than going to like thinking of things that didn't work out. So that's actually sort of a good thing. So maybe that's part of it, like a little challenge here. It's like a bonus if you're actually not able to think of a lot of things that are like challenging right now. That can be good. And I can start sharing, at least my one other thing, I guess, for me for the challenging situations. And if you didn't want to share another challenging situation, that's fine, like I said. So you can start sharing, if you can share 1, 2, or just 3 things, 1, 2, or 3 things that you were grateful for the past day or the past week from earlier when we were writing, if you were here for that, or last week if you were here for it. And if you didn't write that down earlier, but you're just in here now, then yeah, feel free to write down right now 3 things that you're grateful for that happened the past day or the past week. Just really recent stuff too. Tap into that more present stuff. And as you're typing, I'm gonna share. So I wrote down like the job thing too. Yeah, I wrote down that I'm grateful for fully realizing my value, and that the universe helps get me out of an unfulfilling cleaning job. And no shade on anyone who does. I'm just gonna say this again. No shade on anyone who does want to do like a cleaning job or currently does. It's just that like, some people do enjoy it. It's just that like for me, based on the circumstances that I have with that person, it wasn't fulfilling and it was just not good, And I was like discarded like trash. I'm like, okay, I didn't confirm that I didn't want to do the job anymore. I was just asking for higher pay and expressing my frustration. I'm allowed to do that, But it's like, okay. So for me, that's why I'm like, this was like a piece of trash job, honestly. Like, it wasn't the worst, though. Luckily, it wasn't the dirtiest places I was cleaning or anything, but it was like, the circumstances. Okay, and then number 2, I shared that I'm grateful that no matter what heartbreak I go through, I continue to be loving. Yeah, I just did that. I continue to be loving. And heartbreak is more than just like relationships. Heartbreak is just like in general. It could be like with your family too, It's heartbreaking to have maybe their relationship a certain way or how they would treat you growing up. It could be heartbreaking to have like issues with like friends, anything like that, right? From the past or whatever in general. So I just wrote down that like in general, I am someone like no matter what kind of heartbreak I may go through in life or things that are heart-wrenching, I do continue to be loving, and I do have my fire times where I can be like, I haven't been like the happiest, cheeriest person like when upset and stuff too, like I'm not like all rainbows and sunshine. My Leo rising definitely comes out when I'm angry, or it would. Not anymore, because I trained myself to be different, because I didn't want to lose people out of my life based on anger issues, There's also ADHD and being aware of like how impulsive tendencies can happen too. But that's why being aware of your mind is so important, and knowing what's going on with it. So aside from just being aware of like thoughts and patterns and stuff like that, even just being interested in the psychology of your mind, like many of the people I know, it's like energies attract. Many of the people I know are neurodivergent too, and then actually being able to understand your brain, and especially in this world where like the current system that might be is just sort of slowly breaking apart. The current system isn't designed for those of us who are neurodivergent. It's like hard for us to exist easily, or to prosper out of it, but. That's a mindset too, and it's like finding ways to be able to exist within the system, and there's definitely been ways I've seen people do ways, they make it here. But even if you're not neurodivergent, if you're just like someone who has extreme depression or you have PTSD, usually there's a lot that goes hand in hand, but it's just knowing your brain to know how to respond to it, right? Because the mind is wild. Like, I know I would say like I would mention a lot like, oh, it's like there to protect us and it has like a lot of fear and things, but that's just, the point of why it exists. Just understanding and accepting that too, is important, and just being in touch with that. Travis said, okay, no, that was earlier, sorry. Dwayne said, I love studying the mind. Yes, the mind is so interesting. Cool, I'm glad you do too. Makes sense. You mentioned also liking The Power of Now. You said it was a great read. And you've read it before me because I'm still like in the middle of it. So that's good. People would keep mentioning it to me. Yeah, so I'm like finally reading it. And yeah, if you stayed this far into the live stream, whether you're here currently still now or you're someone who's watching later, yeah, recommend it. Please look into The Power of Now. It's something that you can do that's different, you know? Like, even just give like 2 chapters a try or something. If you really don't like reading or listening to audiobooks, like, you can still get something out of those 2 chapters. I just say try it out because, you know, you might just sort of like click something for yourself in your mind. And it might change your world. And for me, it's like, yeah, it's not completely new things I learned. It's just things that I sort of did forget along the way, along my spiritual journey too. And sometimes you need to be reminded of stuff, you know. It just happens. I don't know. It sort of still felt like newness though to me. I think because it was being refreshed into my mind and explained in a way that I didn't read before in a book. It's like things that I would think about on my own, like our brains and our minds and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think, because I already knew time is an illusion is one concept in it too, right? So that's another thing that can connect also with gratitude. I know I'm sort of mentioning a bunch of different concepts, right? But if you're grateful for things, you're not worried about like, oh, what I don't have and how soon or how long is it going to take to get this, or, you know. So time is an illusion. That was a concept I already have known for a little while now, but the way he explains it in the book of The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle, for those of you who don't know, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He talks about time being an illusion. He goes even deeper into it and how time is also, I'm not sure if he said it's the root of people's fear or if, yeah, maybe I think that's it. Actually that part was like a little more new for me. It's like, it felt like I was remembering though. But that's the funny thing. It's like that book, it literally is about people as humans remembering who they are in their core nature, you know? And he's literally, he's like sectioning it out for you to understand, and I actually really like it. And it's like people asking questions and prompts that you might ask, like, they have like I don't know, some woman or a man in the audiobook, I don't know, they just change the people. I don't know if it's like that in the paper book, but they'll have people asking questions like, oh, but isn't the mind important? I need my mind to think about this and that, right? And then in the book, Eckhart Tolle talks about how, like, you know, he answers the question. He, like, answers all the question that you would ask. Okay, Dwayne said, but what makes it an illusion is the real magic. I call it the dilation of time. Yeah, it's so crazy. Because, yeah, he talked about, what, like, clock time? Like, yeah, we know there's time and a clock, but it is, some human out there one day was like, let's have clocks to measure, I don't know, the amount of time. I don't know why they wanted to make a clock. And I'm not saying that we don't need time now. I mean, in our society we have the clocks that make sense in our society now. That time is measured how it makes sense currently for how the society is structured. But also, like, the idea of clocks and things, they didn't exist at some point forever ago, right? And they went based on, like, what, the stars? That's why astrology is a thing, and it actually is a real thing. So if people doubt that, people go based on the stars and where they're positioned in the sun and the moon and things like that. So it's like time really didn't exist. And, like, the example he gave also was, like, if you ask, like, a bird or whatever, like, oh, what time is it? They're gonna be like, what? What are you talking about? What time? Like, the time is now. Like, just here, now? Like, what are you talking about? So the time is always now, in general, for everything, you know? Just present moments always. That's something I would mention quite a bit in my live streams, just being present and how every moment is the present moment. The past was the present, the future is the present. So yeah, be grateful now because you deserve to. Be grateful for things that you have now. Be grateful for what capabilities that you have currently now to change the circumstances that you're not so happy about right now, right? Like, if I didn't, you know, that's the thing, like, I don't know, like, you know, what's going on in the universe, right? Like, I'm saying Mercury retrograde stuff, because I think, like, if I would have actually kept doing the cleaning job for a bit more and still complaining about it to myself, just because I know, like, oh, financially it was helpful, right? And I'm like, I want to prepare a little more to just see if I can, like, get faster at doing the job and all this and that. But you know what I mean? I think something energetically in the world was like, this isn't working. And obviously I felt the pull to let him know, hey, details were missing from the job, you know, and we just talked about it earlier this week, and I think I deserve better pay and all this and that, right? And then I didn't receive a message he gave me after he first got defensive, and I replied back like, oh, I am grateful for the job. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to communicate. Details are important, and I'll let you know if I can't do it in a couple of weeks. You know, I'll give you 2 weeks notice, right? And I just didn't receive. I didn't think he said anything else, and he gave me a message that I did not receive. Him saying like someone else. He decided to hire someone else for my role and stuff, and but I did clean for the whole week, so I was able to at least get pay for last week, right? But clearly that's like crazy stuff, right? It's like what happened there also in that time too. It's just like crazy things are happening. So energetically it's just like, well, I don't know. I'd actually had to pay my phone bill too, actually. I think maybe that happened, like, but I was still receiving, I don't know, that exact day on Thursday, I don't know. Whatever. So that's what I'm saying, like, technology things in general still have been happening, though, Mercury retrograde-wise. Whether it's being late on a phone bill or not, or whatever. I still didn't receive his text at all, and he, like, tried to, forward it to me and say, hey, if this wasn't clear enough, I thought you weren't working for me anymore. I thought we were done. That's what he said. Like a relationship or something. I thought we were done with each other. I'm like, okay. Like, calm down. What are you talking about, man? I guess. I didn't say anything, though. So I'm like, how did he get that assumption in his head? It was just I think he was definitely trying to be sarcastic and have an attitude, but whatever. It's just funny to me. But, yes, time, being grateful, and being grateful for what you have now. And, yeah, even that concept, it can make it hard for being, like, on time to work, and there's, like, certain job structures and things. I can go all into time another time. Another time. Dude said, but, okay, you said that already, okay. Yeah, so, I don't know, we touched on a bit. I don't want to make this too much longer. I know last week's was pretty long. Hope you guys got some good bits out of this. Just want to check if you have any questions before I completely wrap up. If you have any questions for me, any thoughts, anything that light bulbs up to mind that you want to share, I'll give you a minute or two to type as I give my closing notes. So, yes, hope you like this workshop. I do Mindful Monday meditations at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tarot Tuesdays on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. on Instagram. Wednesdays, I'm really trying to get YouTube videos together. Maybe now I have more time now that I'm not doing the cleaning job, and I will make some meditation YouTube videos. In January, I want to start definitely. I still want to do live streams. I think I'm gonna do yoga. For sure, just to since I got certified last month, I want to get into the practice of teaching it, and the only way to feel fully confident with teaching it regularly is to do it regularly, so look forward to some yoga live streams that hopefully I can just start doing in January with you guys. And I actually just want to ask right now, 'cause I know I was trying to ask last night about it, gratitude challenge. Since we're talking about gratitude anyway, I was thinking to do a gratitude challenge, a 21-day gratitude challenge or a 14-day. What would you guys prefer? Because if I do a 21-day, I'll still start it next week. Maybe it'll start like on Monday. And if not, 14-day will also still just start next week. So even if it goes into the new year, let me know what you would prefer. They do say that you soak things up within 21 days more, like a habit. So that's why I sort of wanted to do that. It's a common concept. 2 weeks can also still be enough time. I don't think I'm going to do it as a live stream, though. I think I was just going to make a post on YouTube, and I was going to share that and just see people interact with it. And I hope that, if you think that'll make it hard for you to, keep up, then let me know. We could probably just make, a group chat or something as well, like on Instagram. And maybe that could be better, too. I can do, I don't know if there's a channel broadcast thing I can do on Instagram. I don't know if I have enough followers for that or whatever, but I could see. So let me know if you have any thoughts. Another minute. Probably am gonna do 21 day gratitude challenge. I'll think of a little idea and I'll post on YouTube. But if you have any extra thoughts, just a few more seconds. Trevi said you would love 21 day. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll definitely do 21 day. I'm just trying to think how I want to do it. So I'm playing it out a bit, and I'm trying to see. I'll think of some ideas, and I'll see if I can make a poll about it and see what people would like to do. And if I somehow just come up with a whole little curriculum in my head, then I'll just post about it so people know still, at least. But yay! I'm glad you'll be part of it. Yeah, stay tuned on that. I will either Instagram more details about it or I'll YouTube post about it in general, you know. Well, even my YouTube post about it, I'll still share on Instagram. You'll know just from there because that's where I mainly interact with everyone too. But yeah, please share this with anyone you think that could be helpful. This workshop could be helpful for. It was 2-parter. If we somehow want a part 3, then you guys can let me know. But I think these 2 parts sort of just cover everything anyway, and it gives you that enough sauce, enough information to think on everything, and not. I mean, it can be overwhelming already enough as it is. So I think it's a good place to start. And we could check in about this during the gratitude challenge and stuff too. Yeah, like that. Cool. Thank you so much for popping in. Much love. One love. Mwah. Peace out, friends. If you want one-on-one, anything, one-on-one coaching, tarot, whatever, let me know. Meditation sessions, a workout, nutrition coaching, whatever you want, let me know. I love helping people. It's my life mission. Peace. Bye. Have a good night.